Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about helping you make a decision between the Mate 20 Pro and the Mate 20X. Both were announced at the same time. They share some similar internals, but some of the main features about the Mate 20X may turn you off and may push you over to the Mate 20 Pro. Both are great devices. I'm going to help you narrow down which one is better for you. This is TK. Let's check it out. So here we have both devices. The Mate 20 Pro on the right is in black and the Mate 20X here on the left is in blue. Of course, you can see some similarities in aesthetics. The camera setup on the back is identical. We have a triple camera setup, a 40 megapixel sensor, an RGB sensor, as well as a wide angle RGB sensor. So capable of both of them going up to 4K at 30 frames per second, as well as low as 720p. Definitely with OIS and EIS depending on different modes, but you'll notice of course that the fingerprint sensor here on the left is present where we don't have one here. The fingerprint on the Mate 20 Pro is built in beneath the displays on the front. So for the Mate 20X we definitely have that. It's very fast and it is present. So this is typical to what we've seen before from Huawei. It is very nice and definitely the right placement to have it right there, as that's generally when your finger will rest. The other difference that's not visible to you guys is that we have wireless charging here built into the device with the 20 Pro, where with the 20X we do not have wireless charging. So if that's a deal breaker for you, obviously keep that in mind. But if you're looking for camera experience, you're going to get the exact same camera experience from both of them. The last thing I want to talk about is this pen that I'm talking about here. This is the M Pen. It's only compatible with the Mate 20X. It is made for the Mate 20X. It does not work in any way, shape, or form, unfortunately, with the Mate 20 Pro. There's no response. It seems like it's basically some type of a display technology that recognizes the tip. There are shortcuts that you can use with the button and use them in functional, get things running, and I'll share that with you guys. But overall, this will only work with this guy. Now switching over to the front, there's a couple of things that first thing stand out to us. Obviously the size difference, 6.39 inch display, curved at the edges where we have a 7.2 inch display and more of a flat design here. So if we look at the device, you'll notice right there, there's a curvature that comes all around and it's symmetrical on both the front and the back. But when we go over to the Mate 20X, we have that curvature in the back going to the front, but from the front, for the most part, you have pretty much a flat surface. Now, both are running OLED panels, although this one is at 1440p as opposed to a 1080p panel. So slightly higher resolution with a smaller display. And of course, we have a much bigger 1080p panel. Both will support HD on Netflix, so just keep that in mind. So for content consumption, this is going to be great. When we're looking as far as the other aesthetical difference here is, we'll notice there's a little bit of a logo here that gives us access to where the fingerprint sensor is on this device. This one has it in the back, and I shared that with you guys at the beginning. The other thing that we also have a big difference here is the little bit of a notch here that we have at the top. We have a teardrop notch with a basically an earpiece at the top, where here we have the earpiece, the front-facing camera, as well as the 3D sensor for front-facing unlock. This is part of the main benefit of the 20 Pro, where the Mate 20X uses the front-facing camera to do face unlock. It's not as secure, but it's definitely still very fast. The other difference that we have here is that this piece, or this earpiece here on the Mate 20 Pro, is actually part of a paired stereo speaker. Bottom one on the bottom, and of course the mids and highs are coming up out of the earpiece. Where here with the Mate 20 Pro, we don't really need that. And I say that because we have a top firing speaker and a bottom firing speaker. Both will provide us the stereo speakers, and both obviously are support Dolby Atmos, but for great sound, just from a stereo sound built in, we no longer have to use the top earpiece, which is really nicely tucked in here. We use this one, and definitely sound just amazing. The last thing I'm going to share with you guys is the aesthetical difference on the buttons here. We have a red button on the Mate 20 Pro, where we have a red button, but slightly more accented with a black, darker color at the top. Here, it's all red. Placement is pretty much the same spot. At the top, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, which we don't actually have here. We still have an IR blaster between two of them, as well as a microphone, and again, one of the speakers here. So this one keeps the 3.5mm headphone jack, but not only that, it's supported by Dolby Atmos. So definitely really good audio experience. Nothing's wrong with this one, it's just that they're including a dongle with this to be able to use with this, or if you're going to be using headphones, you're not going to be disappointed. Looking over on the left side, the other difference here is that the SIM tray, dual SIM tray, or the SIM tray with the nano memory card, is positioning on the left side on the Mate 20X, where on the Mate 20 Pro it doesn't exist there. It's actually sitting all the way at the bottom. And looking over at the bottom section, we're pretty much greeted with the USB-C port for data and audio connection, as well as sync. Now you are able to play audio using USB out of the Mate 20X, even though you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. That's just part of Android. We have a microphone, dual microphone, and the bottom firing speakers and a couple of antenna bands. Here we have one of the microphones, secondary there, USB-C, as I mentioned to you guys, and then this is where the SIM tray is sitting, dual SIM or a SIM and a nano memory card. Now, as I mentioned to you guys, both support Face Unlock. I'm going to just go ahead and use Face Unlock on this one. and I can swipe it away, or I can use my fingerprint and unlock it. The technology has definitely been improved and looks really, really good. Face unlock here, and then you can swipe away, or you can push your button here and then put your finger and then it'll unlock the device. Both are definitely very nice and both are a secure technology. Although the front-facing 3D sensor, it will be compatible with online payment authentication, where the front-facing camera technology that we have here with the 20X will not, for just authenticating that way. You do have a fingerprint sensor here, so you can use that to authenticate your payments and all of that for future reference. But since we don't have one on the Mate 20 Pro, we really need something that's outside of just having a fingerprint sensor. So the 3D sensor, from what I understand, will also support that. Both of them support Android 9.0 with EMUI 9.0 from Huawei. Now I've installed Nova Prime here. I'm able to use Nova Prime. I just want to kind of show you guys that this just does not work at all. Here it works exactly as you would expect. You can use and make all your gestures. You can go back. You can even actually use the split screen functionality here. So if I use the pencil, so let's go and launch this, hold the pen and then draw a line in the middle. It'll launch split screen and I'm able to launch separate application. Of course, I can swipe back and then go home. The other option is a press and hold and tap. It gets us directly into the notepad or the note-taking application. And this actually works even from the lock screen. So if I hold, tap on the display, it automatically opens up the little note-taking application. Definitely very nice. Let's go ahead and unlock it one more time. And it does have a lot of the same shortcuts. So if your screen is off, you can draw on the display and you'll be able to get some of those. If I hold the button and double tap, I'm able to take a screenshot. I can actually edit it. I'll go ahead and click on it. And I can go in, either edit, share, scroll shot, or I can delete. I'll just go ahead and delete this one for now. But some of the main functionalities are really pretty much just sitting here. Of course, as I mentioned, we have that teardrop, a little bit of a teardrop notch, if you want to call it a notch. But other than that, you're really enjoying a massive display here, which really looks very nice. As far as specifications, both are running the Kirin 980 chipset, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage. Expandable using the nano memory card from Huawei, and that's about the only expansion that you're able to do. Both support pretty much the same technologies as far as like EMUI desktop, same things, storage, all of that. And both will be able to support having third-party launchers, as this is the unlocked version of this device. So I'm going to go in here, go to settings, we'll go back, and then we're going to go apps, and then we're going to go default apps. You'll notice right there, launcher. I'm able to install a secondary launcher and change it. The Chinese version of this unfortunately does not allow secondary launchers, so just keep that in mind. I keep forgetting that this one doesn't support it, and I want to touch that to be able to get it initiated. Both will support the dark UI, so that's something you want to keep in mind to be able to save some power. Now, the other difference that we have between the two that I forgot to mention to you guys is we have a 4200 milliamp battery here, but we also have a 5000 milliamp battery here. Very different, very, very nice. Both support the Huawei Supercharge, but unfortunately slightly different. But this one in the box comes in with the Huawei Supercharge at the 40 watt charger, and this one comes with a 20 watt supercharger. Both will charge very fast and both will give you access to basically a massive battery very, very quickly. Although from a screen on time point of reference, this will definitely trump over here, as this not only has a 1080p, which is slightly lower resolution, but it also has a massive 5000 milliamp battery, where here we have a 4200 capable of bringing down the resolution at 1080p. But I'm just saying, overall, experience-wise, one-to-one, I think this one will definitely a little bit better as far as battery life. Again, just from the sheer size of the battery difference. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys want to hear how the sound is, the difference between these two, and I'm not going to disappoint you guys. We're going to go ahead and play a quick song between the two. There's no question this one's going to be louder, but I want to share with you guys exactly how it sounds. So we're going to bring up the same song, and I'm going to go ahead and put both of them at 100%. And again, keep in mind, this is obviously not the ideal way of playing music on this, but we're going to start off with the same song. I'll play 15 seconds here, and we'll switch over to this guy. So you'll notice right there, as I was playing music, we do have Dolby Atmos, and you are able to turn it on, and it has automatic profile, which means it would play the music. Depending if it's music, it'll play it at that level and optimize it there. So now that we've heard the Mate 20 Pro, let's listen to the Mate 20X. So you can definitely hear that the sound here is way louder. Obviously dual speakers, we're going to get a much better experience there. The other thing I want to mention to you guys, a slight difference here, is the way we have a stereo speaker implemented here is that the earpiece is playing the mids and highs, and the bottom firing speaker is playing basically the mids and low, and basically the lows for the most part. And it's being basically routed through the USB-C connector at the bottom. So that's also one of the issues, is that the grill itself is actually limited to this size, and if you plug in a let's say a charging cable when you're trying to listen to music, it will reduce the sound a little bit down. So there's also that to keep in mind. But if you're plugged in using a headset or using Bluetooth, obviously none of these things will have any problems because both these devices support very good audio playback. You may have noticed that I'm using gestures here that I'm not using on the one on the right. Now both of them support it. It's just I wanted to share with you guys that you guys have the ability to basically go in with the standard navigation, the dock, or you can actually just use the options here that you get. So you can open up applications, and of course both come with the Google Play services and applications. So there's no difference between the two. Overall, really, when it comes down to when we're looking at these devices, what we're looking as far as aesthetical differences is really what you want to get out of the phone. Now that we're done with the comparisons between the two, let's talk about what makes one unique more than the other. So I'm going to talk about the 20X. Really, when it comes down to it, it's a bigger display at 7.2 inches. We have a 5,000 milliamp battery. We have a 3.5mm headphone jack. It's a unique feature now. And we have stereo speakers that are definitely louder, tuned with Dolby Atmos. Now we have Dolby Atmos both on the Pro and the X, but again, stereo speakers that will get you much better audio representation. So if you're watching movies, you're going to definitely enjoy it a lot more. The speakers on the 20 Pro are not bad, it's just by comparison they're not as loud. Now when we look over the 20 Pro, what makes it more unique? We're talking about the 3D face scanner. That's something that we don't have on the other one. We also have the fingerprint sensor under the display. We have wireless charging. We also have a 40-watt charger as opposed to the 20-watt charger that comes with the 20X. So those are things that will make it more unique. The smaller form factor obviously is more pocketable, but you're still getting an almost 6.4-inch display, so keep that in mind. And at the end of the day, I forgot to mention with the 20X is the M Pen support. That's only working with the 20X. The 20 Pro does not have that. So when it really comes down to it at the end of the day is price-wise, they're very close, although the Mate 20 Pro is a little bit more expensive with the new tech. So if it comes down to it that you want to basically have the best multimedia experience between the two, not the best of everything, but between the two, I think the Mate 20X gives you a much better experience. You can go longer, you can definitely have a much bigger display, enjoy it more. It's a big bright OLED display, which both of them have, and it's 1080p, so the battery consumption on that display is not going to be that bad. And of course, stereo speakers and headphone jack, all of the cool things that you'd want to be able to get out of a media consumption powerhouse. Gaming is going to be pretty much the same on both. They both support the 980 with the Kirin 980 with the dual NPUs, as well as GPU turbo. So you're going to get the exact same experience there. But if you want to get the best and the best features that Huawei has to offer in 2018 and going into 2019, I think the Mate 20 Pro is the phone you'd want to go with. Smaller, a lot more, basically a lot faster on the recharge, but overall, just again, it's more of an experience point of view. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. And as far as being able to pick up one or the other for you guys, I'll make sure to give you guys a link in the description below to the Funkyshop.club where I picked up the Mate 20X. Definitely very nice to be able to pick up the unlocked version where it basically just does everything that you'd want out of the box. This is TK. I'll see you guys in the next video.